All right. I'm going to do a little birthday stream and kind of hang out for a bit. I haven't played this game since the last time I streamed, which was New Year's for Stranger Things, so hopefully I don't get lost. Anyway, media's been kind of a bummer in January. I watched Highlander last week and Escape from New York yesterday. Kind of resorting to the old fun movies. Also, apparently there was a show that came out on Peacock called The Burbs, which I guess is a remake of an older movie. But it doesn't sound like the older movie was super popular. But the remake also sounds like one of those weird race swap, almost like that movie Karen, if anyone saw that, where the white people are like comically evil. Who the hell knows? There's so much stuff that comes out in streaming that it's like, I make a lot of damn YouTube videos about TV and movies, and I still have so much that people are like, "Hey, have you seen this show?" And I'm like, haven't even heard of it, let alone seen it. Mr. Divine uh, coming in, always being a dick. There we go. I don't know why the chat lags sometimes until I click it again after the stream. Anyway, yeah, Social Security, man, I fucking wish. Part of the reason I'm actually doing this, it's 7:15 Eastern time. I'm gonna have to go to bed in like 45 minutes because I'm a field engineer on a construction project, and we've got a concrete pour tonight at 2 in the morning. So I had to wake up at like 12:30 ish to get over there, make sure that they don't get delayed because of me. And concrete's kind of stressful as far as it goes. Hey, thanks, Sean. Um, yeah, concrete pours are kind of stressful for work because you, I mean, I don't know. On one hand, it's stressful because everything's on a timer. You want to make sure the quality looks good. But the bigger issue really is that it's expensive. So if it's fucked up, and obviously it's concrete, so it's very hard, it ends up being a huge pain in the ass to try to correct because you have to, you know, blow it up or break it apart and redo it. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Divine says I'm so important in my job. Honestly, if I was important, I wouldn't be the one out in the fucking field at 2 in the morning. you know? Let's see, I don't know which Michigan, huh. Which mission to do here. Um 'Cause I don't want to pick a super long one. But I do want to hang out at least for a bit. Let's go try to get Garrus. Um no, honestly, I'm like the low man on the totem pole, but it's just one of those things that you have to have someone out there for. And the reason I say I don't think it's that stressful is because once you make sure the mix is correct and you get your samples, then really all you're doing is checking tickets, keeping an eye on it, keeping track of times and volumes. I mean, honestly, I could probably teach a lot of you guys to do it in like an evening. Um, you know, it's just work. Every job feels the fucking same sometimes. So yeah, I just wanted to hang out for a bit. It's kind of a bummer. There's like a lot of really shitty anime this season, you know? So there's not even like a lot of fun with that. January is kind of the dump month for a lot of shows. People have been going crazy about shit, what's it called? The night of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, or whatever the exact title is. What's the update on my boat? There is none. For as far as it goes, um I was really trying to get it done before the birth, and then because I'm having my wife read the whole thing out loud with me is like my final edit. So we were like a quarter of the way through, and then she was too sick to help me. And I've been busy with obviously him, work. I've got tests and shit that I'm studying for. So it's just been a bad time. I'm hoping that maybe after I take the test, I can get back to it a little bit, but it's kind of why I haven't said anything. I figure when it's actually going to be done, I'll say something. But I don't. It's just hard to commit to anything when your schedule is not under your control to some degree. Yeah, iStat says I've only watched 2 anime this season. Yeah, Mr. Divine. I think it's called Night of the Seven Kingdoms, or Dunk and Egg maybe. Um, but people have been going crazy over it. I can't be bothered with George R. R. Martin. I think even this series only has 3 books, and he had said he had like 10 stories that he wanted to tell. So just typical, George fashion. But as far as anime this season, I mean, there's like the part-time torturer one, which I just did a video on, because it's mainly just a boring slice of life with not much happening. Oh, thanks, Shammy. Um, there's this Shiba Yugi death game show, which is it's okay. It's a little bit pretentious for its own quality. Like, if you're gonna be all artsy and think you're insightful, you better be good. So it's like fine. It's not terrible, but that show thinks it's better than it is, or deeper than it is. Um, Sentenced to be a Hero has been good. I've been enjoying that one. But I'm kind of waiting to see what unfolds, because there's been a decent amount happening, but it's just sort of unclear to me. Well, it's not unclear in a broad sense. It's like a revenge story, but I kind of want to see where things start heading. I've been enjoying You and I Are Polar Opposites for rom-coms. That one's pretty chill. It's a pretty easy one to watch. There's not a lot of dicking around or drama. Yeah, iStat says he's just watching isekai shit, which is, yeah, and that's what I mean. Is like there's a few of those. Like that one, like Jack of All Trades looks like that. There is one that I've actually thought has been okay so far. I think it's called Hell Mode on High Dive, where the guy goes into a video game world in the hardest difficulty, so everything is skewed against him, and he starts out as a kid. So people have been comparing it to Jobless Reincarnation because of that, or Mushoku Tensei if you're a weeb. I don't really think they're similar though. Like, this one is much more video gamey. Well, I don't know. Let me rephrase that. His powers are very video gamey, even though he's living in this world and has a family and stuff, and he's a kid. But it feels less serious so far. Yeah, iStat says Jack of All Trades and Noble Reincarnation are both ass shows, but it's his ass shows. I almost started Jack of All Trades, but I just haven't had the time. What else is there? Yeah, there's like that Taemin Side B, where the girl is a maid for her favorite K-pop idol guy, and obviously he's gonna fall in love with her. I mean, there is like a funny idea there that he's a loser, like a hyper introvert in real life, and he's like super awkward and like no self-esteem. But that kind of gets old quickly, and then it just sort of feels like a self-insert for girls who want to fall in love and date their K-pop idols. So it's like fine, it's just not super intriguing or like funny or anything. Frieren season 2 obviously is very good. Divine asks if there's been an increase in video game type anime. Well, I think with the isekai thing, like once it took off, there's been like a bajillion. And that's why you see these titles that are like they had to be the entire plot summary. At least this is the explanation that I heard, was that the titles are so ridiculous because there's so many that people are writing that if you don't have a very specific title, there's like no way for people to find your book in Japan. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I heard. Someone talking about online, because people were like, why the fuck are these titles like a paragraph long? And, you know, then you get the weird stuff at the vending machine. You've got this one coming out that's called like Reincarnated as the Hero's Rib. I'm hoping that's a parody. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, Istad just beat me to it. He said obviously the best one is Reincarnated as a vending machine. So I travel the dungeons. Yeah. You know what's funny is the vending machine one actually started out as like okay. But it's weird because it's kind of just generic. It's generic outside of the vending machine, so it ends up getting dull. Because I actually think the idea for him specifically is kind of neat, because he's getting like the more people spend money on him, the more points he gets to develop. So then he advances abilities and he uses them in creative ways and whatever. But then it's like it feels like a couple of the girls are in love with him, even though he's a vending machine. There's still like kind of a harem thing going there, I think. So it's it's just one of those things that I just I don't know. It just gets, the problem is so many of these devolve into just kind of harem slop and like overpowered self-insert, like they all just sort of turn to the same things. And there's some Divine said Hero's Rib, like not referring to a woman like biblical. I just saw the cover for it. I don't know anything about it. And the cover looked like maybe it's a comedy. So I'm hoping that that's the case. Otherwise, I don't even know what the fucking show would be. And there's already been like Reincarnated as the Hero's Sword. And comedy isekais can work really well. Obviously, you have stuff like Konosuba, which is hilarious. But so many of them are just like, reincarnated as whatever, I'm actually the strongest. And even the shows that aren't isekais now, you get the shit where it's like, oh, kicked out of the whatever party, but actually I'm the best. And it's they all just seem to really go down the same route. I think the last one that I liked like that was maybe there's one about like the underground healer. And I think his is at least interesting so far because his healing is OP and then he does other weird shit. But I mean, even still, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, there's 3, demi-human waifu types and all the same shit. So, I mean, there's a reason that that the stuff like the appraisal show or Mushoku Tensei, like there's a reason that all these stick out, Hey, John, what's up? Yeah, I don't go live very often, so um, but isekai is a genre. It just means other world. So pretty much all of them are either the character dies and respawns somewhere else, they get just teleported randomly, or it's a video game and they get put in the video game. And then of course people debate if video game count as isekai because it's a virtual world and whatever the fuck else. I don't care about that. You enjoyed No Other Choice? Yeah, No Other Choice was good. It wasn't quite what I expected, but I still really enjoyed it. Um, a French film, A Private Life, with Jodie Foster. Huh. I don't think I've really watched any French films. I tend to watch, well, obviously Western stuff, but like Korean and Japanese. And then sometimes if I hear a lot about something like Dark, which is German, that's a German Netflix show. Like I'll watch that sort of thing. That was really good. Um, Probably the smartest show I've seen was Dark. But yeah, the anime this season has just been it's just been a bit of a downer. I mean, you got Chain Slave season 2. Um and Chain Slave is just kind of like gooner material, frankly. Like I actually think it has kind of a neat premise, and then it just turns into like how many titties can we get on screen, which is like fine, but then that's what it devolves into. Istad's talking about it's gonna be 40 this weekend because you're up in New York now. I was thinking you were in Florida still. Yeah, it sucks. Um, I'm looking forward to that movie. It sucks. I'm gonna be driving out of town to see my family this weekend, so I won't be able to see any movies until maybe Sunday. Um, oh shit, I'm blanking on the name. Hold on, let me look the name up real quick because there's one movie I think looks really fun, and there's an anime movie coming out called Scarlet that I think looks pretty neat. But the Sam Rockwell movie coming out looks like it should be fun if I can find the damn title. It's called like it's got a weird name. Hold on. I'm on my phone looking, so Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. To me that looks like a fun movie. I have no clue if it'll be fun, but at least it looks like it's different. Um I think Scarlet comes out this weekend. Am I mistaken? iStat says Scarlet is later. Let's No, I'm seeing showtimes for Friday in my area. Yeah. So at least this week, you know how it is with anime. Might only be a 2 week run, but I'm hoping that I can get to see it before it gets pulled from theater. Um, let's see. I missed a little bit of the chat looking at my damn phone. There's like 10% English in the French film. Okay. I've not watched much anime these days. A lot in the 90s with some 2010s. Oh yeah, I got you. Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Yeah, I think iStat recommends me that one a lot. Mr. Divine says, "What's the name of the titty show?" It's called Chained Slave. I think it's either Chained Slave or Chained Soldier. Um, it comes on High Dive. It's I mean the you have to see it to see the world. Essentially, there's like an alternate dimension that infiltrated our world, and only women can have power. And the main guy gets stuck getting pulled into the other dimension because they have these incidents. And her ability is to turn the monsters into slaves. She uses it on him, and he's really powerful as her soldier. Yeah, Chain Soldier is the High Dive title. Um, so he becomes her slave to use the power, But the way they make it Gooner material is that every time that she uses a power, he gets a reward, and neither one of them can stop it. It's just whatever he desires. And so obviously it just devolves into sex because he's like a 16-year-old boy. And then she can lend the ability to other people. So then that functions as an excuse to have every girl turn him into a slave, and then his reward to be, to see their titties. So that's kind of why it devolves into slop. Can't wait for Canadian American release in cinema for Gundam Hathaway. I don't know anything about Gundam, so I mean, like, am I gonna get it if I just start a random movie? Because like I know like a lot of times the movies won't be canon or whatever. Like you get that with My Hero, but I don't know if you would really understand My Hero if you just went and saw a movie. I mean, I guess it's not like super complicated, but you know, like you want to be attached to the characters and stuff. Um, oh, the Japanese means chain slave. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, because I think the Japanese title is like Maho no Say Slave or some shit. Uh, Either way, so there's that show for this season. What else have I even been watching? I'd have to go into the Crunchyroll history and look. But yeah, either way, my whole point was there's kind of like fuck all this season for anime. And then with movies, being kind of shit right now, I've ended up resorting to, old stuff was my whole point. Got totally sidetracked there. Okay, so iStat says that the Gundam thing is canon. It's a separate series, but it does follow one of the other Gundam series. Okay, but you don't have to watch it. Yeah, see, that's what I was wondering. Because I don't really know anything about Gundam anyway to have an opinion other than it's big robots, as far as I know. What else is there? I mean, there was that Send Help movie, which was like fine. I thought it could have been so much better. I thought all the hype around it was like really undeserved. Um, what else? Oh, there was that Mercy movie with Chris Pratt. I mean, that was just straight fucking butt cheeks. Um, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms show, I don't have any interest in, so I'm missing out. Like uh, like the only good thing coming out right now. Fallout Season 2 ended. I need to do my script for that one. Obviously a lot of the stuff that I do unscripted. But when I do season long reviews, I tend to script just because of just because there's so much shit in a full season that I might not remember. So I don't like to go from memory for those. So I need to work on my Gundam. You guys got in my fucking head. I need to work on my damn Fallout script for season 2 because season 2 it was a colossal waste of time. I thought it was super boring. None of the characters are ever really in danger. None of them are particularly likable, which is not great when you don't have a lot going on. Um Damn it. God damn it. Um yeah, Fallout 2 is not very good. iStat says the Gundam shows are super political. What kind of politics? Like, I know they do like a lot of environmentalist shit like that or something else. Or like we all need to get along type thing. I mean, I figure there's a lot of war since it's giant fighting robots. I need to get Helldivers too, so we can help in order to liberate Cybertron. I know people love Helldivers. Honestly, I just don't have much time for video games. Like, pretty much between work, um, studying for these stupid work tests, the channel, and then, you know, obviously the baby and trying to exercise and be less of a fat fuck. It's just a lot right now. But I mean, I know everyone loves Helldivers. People have been talking about it for it feels like a couple years. I thought Fallout Season 2 was like it's weird because it's like almost so little happens that it's not even like a lot to talk about. It's just kind of like what are we doing here? Like I doubt you guys have ever watched Red vs. Blue, but that show starts off and he's like, "You ever wonder why we're here?" And that's how I felt about Fallout Season 2. Like that show was just nothing. Just say you don't like freedom and democracy. From what people have said, it kind of sounds like is it Starship Troopers where they're killing the bugs? It sounds similar to that, but I don't really know anything about it. Damn, what's wrong with my controller here? Is it free? I feel like, was the first one free and then they tried to charge a price for it or something on PlayStation, so people were pissed. I feel like something happened with that, but it didn't last very long. Where they were like, "Oh, we're gonna charge some kind of user fee," because they were pissed off about whatever was going on with how popular the game was. iStat said, "I'm watching Starship Troopers this weekend." There you go. iStat supports freedom and democracy. Service for citizenship. Yeah. You know, I think one of the big problems with Fallout 2, and I'll mention this whenever I get to the damn video. Fallout Season 2, I mean, not the game, obviously. One of the problems I think with Fallout Season 2 is, yeah, it is a classic. It's got young Denise Richards too. The problem with Season 2 is the and this is a problem for Season 1 also, just to be clear. But I think Season 2 makes it much more obvious because of how much it messes up the characters. There's this weird thing that a lot of people think that satire just means like stupid. And I don't know why. But like Fallout just relies on every character being, I would say, functionally retarded as far as it goes. Like that's a huge element of the story. Like the story cannot happen without the characters being retarded. And then because it's satire, quote unquote, they make everyone just super fucking dumb. And that's how the whole plot happens. And I think good satire is, you see the characters in the movie take their situation seriously. So like Starship Troopers, the reason I brought that up is because of Starship Troopers. The characters are never like winking at the camera. The satirical element comes from, your meta knowledge as a viewer. And this is how that movie American Fiction that I talked about a while ago with Jeffrey Wright, the black dude who was he was Gordon in the Batman. He's been in a ton of shit though. He's a good actor. But that movie, like the story in the movie is serious. The characters do care, but the satirical element is that the premise is kind of absurd, and we know that, and the movie knows that, but the characters in the movie don't just pretend like, oh, this is so stupid, ha ha ha. Like they take it seriously. And Starship Troopers obviously does the same thing. I mean, you've got people fucking dying in a military conflict, and it's pretty brutal in some aspects. And I feel like that's where Fallout and many satirical shows really just fuck up like royally, because they think that satire means stupidity combined with they all they can't help themselves but to do the thing where they think their politics are the point of the story as well. So of course then you end up with weird things like a line. There was a line in the new season of Fallout 2 where Lucy says, something, I had to see the exact quote, but something along the lines of, one side is, she goes, oh, so they're pretty much the same. One side is genocidal, blowing up the whole world, killing everyone, and pure evil. And one side is vaguely problematic. And like, I know I don't like to get into political shit on my channel, but that is a very common thing for people to get mad about in politics when they're trying to say that anyone who calls themselves like a moderate is retarded. They say, or when people say both sides are the same, they'll, they don't understand that people view their side as extreme as well. So they'll say the thing where they're like, one side is just imperfect while the other side is pure evil. Like, to be a centrist, you must be so stupid. Is the whatever rationale or the motivation behind the line. So Fallout also has that kind of shit in this season more. It had some of it in the first season where they thought the communists were the good guys, and they thought that capitalism was blowing up the world for profit. Of course, none of it is coherent. None of it makes sense. But these are all things that are kind of lingering issues with Fallout, and I think why it's just not a very good show. I mean, I like Walton Goggins a lot. I think Ella Purnell is doing a pretty good job for what they're giving her. But her character completely regressed. Like, I mean, they just turned her into a caricature of herself, which is like super annoying because, her character works in the first season because she has a journey, well, a literal and character journey that she can go on. And they just like undo all of that for the second season. So the second season comes around and she's just like, oh golly gosh gee willikers the whole time. When it's like, she's seen what the world is. And then Walton Goggins, I mean, he gets captured so damn much this season. I'm like, I don't believe for a fucking second that this dude has survived 200 years. So there's just a lot of shit like that. I mean, there was some of it in season 1. I thought it was, you could kind of overlook it because, the show was having fun. There were some things that it did all right. It was introducing you to the world. This season has been just like, nah, fuck the whole thing. The Ghoul's character arc makes no fucking sense. Like, that the show just decides when he's had his journey, but it does nothing to earn it. So season 3, I assume, will continue dropping in quality. and the show will be probably okay received by, I don't know. You always have that kind of crowd with any IP where there's people who will just love anything with the name on it. Like there's people who defend the Halo TV show, which is obscene to me as a Halo fan. And then the Fallout seems to have its own kind of bifurcation there, where you had the people who were like, the first season was whatever, like really good, blah blah blah, and then the second season is, or the other side of it is, they've destroyed the lore and they're getting into the years and the dates. I don't know enough to comment on that, but if they're shitting on canon and then saying the show is canon, I totally get why people were pissed. So I don't know. Fallout to me seems like one of those things that, I think I said this after the first season, that it seemed fun, but I don't think it's going to hold up. Because it seemed to me like one of those shows that once you put a little bit of thought into it, you're like, oh, well, why would this person do this? And why did this happen? And why did this happen? And how does this make sense? And then you end up with like a bajillion questions. And then season 2 also had weird shit where like, is it Norm, Lucy's brother? Motherfucker's not even worth mentioning his damn name. But but like Norm has completely wasted a whole season. Like you could have done what Norm did this season in about 15 minutes. And they took 8 episodes and pretended it was some massive revelation for the show. The same thing with that chick Stephanie. Like they throw in this thing where she's married to what's his face, the dad, Noam, Gnome. But you throw in the thing with Stephanie where she's married to the dad in the past timeline, and it's like, who gives a shit? So, this whole season to me felt like either one of two things happened. One, they had no plan, which is kind of what I suspect. They were trying to fill time, and that's what the whole season felt like. Or two, they were like, oh, we have an idea for a season. I don't think we can fit it into Hank. Yeah, thank you, Divine. Hank. Or two, they did the thing where they were like, we don't think we can fit we don't think we can fit the whole thing in 8 episodes. So we'll stretch it over 2 years. So like the Ghouls arc in this season, I was just like, what the fuck was the point of that? Because what you end up doing is he's looking for his wife, obviously, right? That's been his thing since episode 1, like 5 minutes in. He's looking for his wife. He finds her empty cryo tube, and then he's like, oh, I feel hopeful now. And it's like, why? You don't know how long she's been out of that tube. You don't know if the tube was opened by raiders and she was raped and killed. The only difference now is he's supposed to be more optimistic because he spent time with Lucy. But Lucy didn't like him and then punched him in the face and left him to die. So like, I the whole thing is just really incoherent. Fucking Maximus continues to fail upwards. And I think part of the problem I have with that is the show doesn't think he's failing upwards. The show thinks that he's like awesome. And then, of course, he finally gets a character moment after 2 seasons. And the show just sends in this group that had one person. And now suddenly they're just back. So, like, it's just one of those shows that as soon as you start asking questions, you're not going to stop. And it's just, the answers are either non existent or incoherent. Like, I actually put season 1 on in the background, over a few days while I was working when season 2 started, because I was like, damn, am I like missing something? But even after I, had season 1 on again, I was like, no, I'm not missing anything. They literally just jumped into this weird ass time in the past, didn't explain shit. And then the season ended with, well, this guy was smart, but there's actually someone smarter. Like, thank you. That's a really good use of 8 fucking episodes of flashbacks. And the show also treats this as though Cooper is like watching his own memories with us, and this is changing his character along the way. It's a really bullshit way to tell a story. And the framing I just don't like, where it's like, now he's suddenly remembering these things because of Lucy or whatever. So now his character is changing back to who he was. But like, he wouldn't just forget who he was. Like, he's obviously been very sentient. He's coherent. Like, he's had this revenge mission for 200 fucking years. So if it wasn't for Walton Goggins' performance, I think people would be shitting on the Ghoul a lot more. And Cooper, really. Because they tried to undercut that his wife was actually evil in season 2 and kind of undo that, even though they don't really do anything that I would say earns it. The show just kind of tells you, well, she's not that bad, really. Even though she let the whole world get nuked and chose to protect herself and their daughter. Yeah, so it's a very frustrating show. Hey, what's up, Stevie? Stevie said his best friend said his favorite movie this year was The Rip. And he told him he can't speak anymore. I mean, The Rip is one of those movies that it's just fine. Everything about it is just very generic, kind of paint by numbers storytelling. It's not like terrible. You've got a good cast with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And the others are, you have Glenn from Walking Dead. The chick is from. You have Taisha, what's her name? Taisha Tyler, which I don't get the love for her. I find her very annoying. And she keeps getting cast as like stereotypical black woman. So she's like always a little bit ghetto, even though she's supposed to be in these very prestigious power positions. Like, I watched that show All's Fair because that was a car crash to watch. But her role in that is like she's trying to become a lawyer, but she still talks like kind of a ghetto black chick. Very weird. This movie, The Rip, she's a cop. She's supposed to be like a cop. I mean, she's not, like she's not supposed to be an idiot, but she also talks like shitty grammar and just stereotypical like ghetto black person talk that I think Hollywood thinks is every black person, because they're not racist at all. Now you're getting tired of the Affleck Damon combo. Yeah, I get that. I mean, they got started together and they've been friends together and doing their whole Boston thing for a long time. I mean, Good Will Hunting was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, I know what you mean, though. But yeah, that movie to me just represents, am I sure she's not an undercover cop? in the context of this movie, I don't think so. It's honestly hard to tell Divine if they're undercover because they're taking like tips from snitches. So it doesn't seem like they're undercover. It just seems like they're cops. I mean, that's how I took it at least. And they don't really explore that dynamic, so it's not super apparent either way. But even if she was an undercover cop, wouldn't you want to do the thing where when she's talking to oh, it's a joke. Yeah, see, it's past my bedtime. I'm fucking old now. But if she's undercover, wouldn't you want to do the thing where you show her like ghetto talking undercover and then like polished when she's talking to police? I don't know. I don't get the love for the actress. She was in one battle after another also as like a revolutionary. I guess it works more in that one because she's a big whore. But yeah, I don't get the love for that actress. I'm blanking on her fucking name. I think it's Taisha Tyler, I want to say. Um Okay, I was so not close that it gave me Aisha Tyler. Let me just look up her damn name. It is. I hate that IMDb tries to bully you into its app every fucking time. Oh, Teyana Taylor. Okay, so I was close. Well, I said Taisha Tyler, Teyana Taylor. Titties. Did I see Air? No. Oh yeah, you think it was just fine? I heard like a lot of people say it was really good. My friend, who's kind of a normie, just said it was boring. And then I've seen it on Prime, and it's one of those where I've just been like, like I don't think I feel like watching this right now. And I've done that about 20 times, so I've never watched it. I mean, it's kind of funny that even when I do get a little bit of free time because I'm tired, I'm like, oh, I'll watch Highlander. I've seen that 10 times. Or I'll watch Escape from New York. Like, that's a fun movie. It's hard for me to sit through so many of these generic, straight to streaming kind of slop movies. I just, it was like a Hallmark movie. That's funny. They like movies. There's so many movies now, and I guess since it's my birthday, I'll just go full fucking boomer. There's so many movies now just feel like they're not even trying anything interesting. Or if they do, they don't have the balls to commit because they do all this shit by committee now. There's so many things that are quote unquote offensive. One of the funniest things for me, because my Stranger Things video hit 100,000 views the other day, which is obviously far and away my biggest video. I doubt I'll have another one that big, maybe ever again. Certainly anytime soon. But I've gotten probably, I would say, over 50 comments saying that they liked the video until I started using slurs. And what they mean by slurs is that I called the writers retarded. Like those are the type of people that you have to worry about when you're making a movie now. Is the people who would refer to the word retard as a slur. And it's just incomprehensible to me that people actually think that they wouldn't be embarrassed to post that online. Like to tell somebody else to stop saying retard because they think they're fucking noble. I told one of them that I identified as retarded, so it's fine. I doubt she ever responded. Did I see Primate? Was that the scary movie? Where like the monkey is attacking people? I think I watched Jeremy John's review on that one. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that I saw it came out. I don't really do a ton of horror. Um, horror is like one of those things that it's. I think part of the reason I don't like it is I find it stressful, and then usually when you get the reveals and stuff, you're just like, oh, this entire movie is really stupid. So I tend to stay away from it. I'm kind of interested in Iron Lung just because of the, Markiplier independent type thing. It sounds interesting at least, but again, I've just been super busy lately. You spoke facts. The writers are in fact retarded. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the '90s, so there's a few words that I use in a way that YouTube would not allow. Um, that I don't consider derogatory towards a certain group. They're just sort of insults that you use to people, usually your friends. I'm gonna go full like Michael Scott here when he says you don't make fun of retarded people for being retards. You make fun of your friends for being retards. But I don't know. There's been a lot of those, and then there's been quite a few comments that are mad that I was shitting on the shippers for Will and Mike. Um, I think they call themselves Byler shippers because it's whatever. Um, I'm blanking on the damn names now. Anyway, it's Will and Mike that they're shipping, and I was like, I'm so glad that that's done now because it never made any sense to me when Mike had a girlfriend since season one, and those people were also super pissy in the comments, and they tend to be mad that I said I didn't like Robin's story being that she was a lesbian. But then they ignore that the context of that is in season three. Steve is the main character in the show at that point. Robin is not. And they make a point to have Steve lose his girlfriend as part of his character development. And then they spent a whole season baiting it to just, subvert what you wanted to happen or expected to happen. And like Robin's coming out scene itself was, I thought, handled really well. I just don't like the decision from a perspective of I don't think you should spend a full season developing something just to have a twist. I mean, obviously you can do it. It's just not my preference. If that was something that happened in episode 2, I'd say great. You move forward from there. And the people in the comments got really mad when I said that. To me, even if she hadn't said she was a lesbian, if she said I have a boyfriend, it's like to me the effect is the same. Like how you spend your screen time is super fucking important. It's not infinite. It's not a book where if you want to expand on a story or a subplot or whatever, practically speaking, you can write a book as long as you want to, or break it into 2 books or whatever. But a show, you're kind of committed to a runtime. So yeah, people are salty about all kinds of stuff in those comments. And the other big thing was that I joked that the final season was all the women doing everything. And of course this wasn't in my script. I said, well, the women and Mike, so maybe he counts as half a girl. Or not Mike, the women and Will, so maybe he counts as half a girl because he's gay. Which I didn't think was a big deal. And my comments are just full of people calling me homophobic. Even though I praised a lot of Will's story up through season 4. Like particularly the parts with his sexuality. No one cares. They just want to call me an asshole. Divine, that was one of your comments about me using the word retard. Well, hey, what's up, Alpha? Oh, you're reading Lord of the Rings right now? I've read the Lord of the Rings books twice, and I just prefer the movies. I don't know if that's like Tolkien blasphemy, but the way that he writes and how flowery it is, I just don't really dig it. Stevie says his dad used to call him retarded all the time. Yeah, I mean, my dad and I call each other all kinds of shit. Um, it's just one of those things where I feel like a lot of this is performative, and um, like just choosing to be offended. I mean, the reality of life is that people are going to make fun of you for whatever is there, whether it's you watch anime, whether it's you're an introvert, whether it's you're gay, whether I started losing my fucking hair in grad school, whether it's you're bald, like people are going to talk shit about whatever they can see. So, you kind of just have to get over yourself a little bit. The R slur to be careful in using on the internet nowadays. I use it on myself as I'm disabled. I'm just balancing how I use it. Yeah. I mean, I try to stay within YouTube stuff because I don't want to get the channel fucking pulled down. But, obviously I wouldn't use it at work or anything. Although I've met some fucking characters in the construction industry. You can imagine people who've been in prison for attempted murder and shit. Ugh. We call in the 50s the 90s now. Mr. Divine always coming in to be a dick. Yeah, Stevie says everyone wanted Mike to be gay so they could have a gay couple. And I guess he doesn't like that show, Heated Rivalry. Yeah, apparently it's based on a book. I'm kind of surprised there's not more of that stuff in America, or maybe I'm just not privy to it. It's not my genre. Like, there is like a subsect of women that I think are just super into gay shit. I mean, I don't particularly care, but I am kind of surprised in that sense that we don't see more. Because Japan, at least manga and all that, has huge sections of boys love or whatever the fuck. For the women, I guess it's women and probably gay dudes who are into that genre. Yeah, why the fuck does the media have to cater everything toward LGBT? Who cares if a character is gay? I want a good story. Yeah, and that's always the issue. And I think the problem is, like, this thing ate me on a whole fucking tangent. But the problem is when you have people who think that your sexuality is an identity, then they think it's like an indictment on the character if they do things that are fucked up. So they won't have a gay character be nuanced or interesting. They'll just have the gay character be awesome. And you see, I know it's a joke, Divine. I don't care. You can keep going. You want to call me old again, you bastard? But when you're tying these identities into character, like if you think gay is a personality trait, well, now you've locked them into they can't be morally gray. They have to be good. And you see this with a lot of, essentially a lot of Hollywood shit. There's a pretty good chance if you see a white guy, you can just assume he'll be bad at some point. And it's not like, it's like it should be that way, but that's kind of what it devolves into. Because you have these really, I think, warped perspectives on sort of reality and character and what makes people interesting. Like one of the comments I saw was this chick telling me, because I went back and forth with some people in the comments about the gay stuff because they were all so pissy. She was really mad and talked about how I needed to view things through a queer lens to understand why Will and Mike being gay was so significant for the queer community. And she told me to watch some guy, I think his channel was like Byler's Law. So I watched one video of his because I had been going back and forth with these people in the comments quite a bit. And it was like half an hour. I think I watched the first 15 minutes and then he changed subjects into something else. But the entire video is literally every single thing that happens, you have to bend it to interpret it as gay. It's a really, I think, fucked up, deranged way to watch media. I think it's incredibly narcissistic It's so weird to me that you feel this like insatiable desire to have characters reflect you on screen that you just deny what actually happens in the story. And if you want to do fan fiction and whatever, right? Like, do your thing. Fan fiction's been around forever. No one cares. But don't, go online and attack the creators. Don't talk about how they queer baited or gay baited for 4 seasons and you're going to shit all over them. I mean, I don't care that they insult me, but I don't think you should insult me for being like, you guys are fucking stupid. It's just bizarre to me. And they also don't seem to understand. Well, they don't seem to understand reality, frankly. When they talk about how important it is to see gay stuff in media, or they might get lynched in the streets. No clue where that's fucking happening. But it's just, it's also just a worldview that 99% of people don't have. So when you tell stories that way, most people are going to think they're dog shit. And like, there's plenty of good gay characters. Like, Arcane Season 1 had a very prominent, well-executed lesbian relationship. For people who are into anime, if you watch Steins Gate, I think it has one of the most interesting ways to deal with a trans character, maybe that I've seen. The way that they do it, I thought was really interesting, where in one timeline, the character is very androgynous, but in one timeline, they're a feminine man, and in one timeline, they're a woman. Because of like a very minor change in the timeline. But they're much happier in one of the timelines, and it's a really interesting way to do it. So like, you can definitely do that kind of stuff. It's just a lot of their characters tend to devolve into like, I'm gay and people who don't like me just don't like me because I'm gay, or I'm awesome just because I'm gay. Like, they just really don't care to develop them in any way that feels human to everyone else who isn't gay or queer or whatever. I don't know whatever they call themselves. I'll stop on that rant. It's just so frustrating that these media companies are pandering to these people who cannot be pandered to. Or they cannot be satisfied regardless of the amount that they're pandered to. Ugh. Alpha says it's not catering exactly, it's media being woke to attract attention, whether positive or negative. Disney's a good example. They're woke until they begin to lose money. Yeah, and that's a really concise way of saying what I just said. It's, these corporations, as soon as they figure out why they're losing money, I think they're going to recalibrate. I mean, we'll see. They might be too infested with ideologues. Like, I don't think Star Wars is going to do anything profitable anytime soon. I think they're completely fine to piss away money. Dave Filoni has openly said he's just like Kathleen Kennedy. So I think it'll just keep going. Yeah, Alpha says that she's asexual, so romance doesn't interest her in the slightest. Yeah, man, I get that too. And there's plenty of people like that who are just like, like, just give me the story. I don't need a love element to it or a romance element to it. I mean, I kind of like it in the sense that I think it's an easy way, to have personal connections and increase stakes. But you absolutely don't need it. Divine says you meant to say Japan has huge tits. Oh, they do that too. I mean, if you want to go watch, oh shit, what's one of them? Like is it Dragon Maid? Where they're all like these ridiculous fucking proportions of these short girls with boobs that are bigger than they are tall. Stevie asked if there's ever been a gay villain in a movie. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there has. If I had more time to think, I would think of one, because it seems impossible to me that there's not been quite a few. Especially if you start including stuff like more of the chick style movies like Devil Wears Prada and stuff. which I'm assuming have catty gay men somewhere in them. Yeah. Yeah, Stevie says, I don't want to view anything through a queer lens. Yeah, exactly. I fucking divine. I never understand the need for representation. It's so gay. Like, I can get why someone would want their sexuality to be portrayed in a certain way, in a way that isn't a negative stereotype. But if it's the only thing being discussed, it overshadows the plot. Yeah, and I don't. I think that's why when I was saying that they tied the sexuality to the identity, I think they can't separate the two. Like, you could have a gay guy be a villain, obviously, or an antagonist, or just some kind of scummy character. But if you view that as like part of his gayness, then you've put limits on all of your storytelling options from that perspective, because you can't tie the gayness to anything bad. And that's kind of what I was trying to get at earlier. But went a little bit long. It was good chatting with you guys. I gotta get to bed. I know it's only 8:20 here, but I gotta be up at 12:30. So yeah, Divine says I don't need to be a monkey in order to relate and want to be Goku. Well, yeah, and that's always the thing, right? Is like, how many people who play Mass Effect don't have a favorite character who's not a human? Or, if you play Halo, can you really relate to any of the characters? Like, nobody's a fucking Spartan, right? But you still love them. It's just a really, I think, thanks, Alpha. I think at best it's misguided. At worst, it's disingenuous. Either way, I just want good movies. Like, Mobland was a very good movie. Show. I thought Day of the Jackal was a very good show. I mean, there's plenty of good TV. It's just, it feels like it doesn't get the attention it should, and it's buried under all this absolute bullshit. I mean, this year, if you look at the movies coming out, it's like 50 sequels. But all right, I'm gonna get to bed and go watch a Concrete pour at 2 a.m. It'll be tons of fun. If you guys ever want to learn about Concrete, don't come to me. But yeah, thanks for the birthday wishes. I don't know when I'll stream again. Obviously, it'll be just kind of when I have time and energy. So not anytime soon. But all right, I'll see you guys.